What is a world without sound? Definitely a world with different communication. Obviously, deaf people experience this, but I'm curious about people who are hearing and how sound affects our lives in ways that are very integral to our perception of time and space and communication. I've always been really fascinated with sound because I'm an auditory learner. I love lectures. I love listening to podcasts. And one of my favorite classes in college was on music appreciation, where we sat in class and listened to music a lot of the time. So I decided to do this project called Soundscape, which has different parts. This is part one, to explore how different sounds shape our reality, our present reality, shape our emotions. As a dancer, obviously music really moves me, as it does most of the world. That's a particular form of sound that humanity kind of agrees is pretty awesome and moves us in a way that the creak of a chair doesn't. However, there are other sounds that aren't necessarily musical that do move us and cause emotional reactions, both good and bad. For this particular part of Soundscape, part one, I wanted to explore how music in a public space influences how people experience that place. We are used to hearing music being played all around. You know, there's jokes about elevator music and how it's so horrible, or pop music in restaurants and you're just going, I don't want to hear this song again. But what about if you don't expect it and you're walking down the street or in a public park and you hear music? What happens to your experience? The other thing that I was really interested in was, as someone who was moved literally by sound, I wanted to know how people's perception of life and of their present experience would change if we introduced movement and sound into a public space that they weren't expecting that. What I wanted to explore was, if it wasn't specifically a street performance, rather just someone who, in this case, me and my husband, Vinny, my partner in this project, if we were just moved by the music ourselves that was playing in a public space and we responded as movers to that, what would happen to us and what would happen to others as they were experiencing this park? I love that in the Christian tradition, in Genesis, it says that God spoke and the world was formed. This means that everything came first from sound. That sound must have had so much depth and power, obviously creativity. So our whole body vibrates with music and sound, which causes movement and influences how we feel, and is really, I think, maybe the basis for how we feel. So this whole makeup of ourselves, I like to call our soundscape. It really is the score of the bits and pieces of frequency and movement and noise that make up who we are, the substance of our own universe of being. Because I believe that each person has a universe of sound inside of them, as well as a universe of movement and experience. I think we're all kind of like little planets coming together, sometimes clicking and orbiting around each other, and at other times just colliding and moving away. But sound and movement shapes those interactions and our perceptions of each other. So we can actually use sound and movement to bless each other, to inspire each other, to, yes, make the world a better place. So one of the most important aspects of this project, and however long it goes, is to see how sound can influence people's reality for the better, can actually bring senses of peace, senses of goodness, senses of love to others. So this is just the beginning. Thank you for sticking with me and being interested in this project. Maybe you will be featured in a future one. This is Soundscape, Part 1.
off to my own free will today because of your music. I thought it was beautiful and calming. It made me feel tranquil, which is quite unusual in the center of Boston. It's usually quite busy and noisy, but it made me feel at peace. So thank you. Thank you.
To listen for music because they need it, whereas other people aren't necessarily as prone to listen. And so it was interesting that you were like a perfect example of what you just said. Because 3 people I asked before said I didn't even really notice it was you.
Well, I'm also one of those, that they call like I'm a hardcore music fan.
Yeah.
So I play a little djembe, but I'm not a professional musician. But many of my friends are. I'm very aware of and very focused on sound and music. And as someone with PTSD, hypervigilance, I'm much more aware of sounds around me than other people are because I'm constantly surveying my environment for potential dangers. And so sounds that other people are consciously aware of, I'm constantly auditory.
So when you hear music, does that help you kind of channel and focus to one thought pattern of like, okay, do you drown out the other noises when you hear music, or is it you hear all the other noises and the music at the same time?
It really depends on the music and my state, my internal state. So there's research that shows that actually really agitating loud music, as long as it has a very loud vibration, can be grounding for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I did that before I even knew it was a thing. Before I knew it was a technique, I used to like lock myself in the car and I'm really not ready to get people step on.
Look at like breeze.
So what did you think when the music turned on? Like, what was your reaction?
I mean, both of us just kind of started like jamming out, and then I guess like it started, we did that for 5 seconds, and that was it. Really, we just kind of droned out.
Yeah, I didn't like it in the beginning. It was like,
See, there's sounds all around us, guys, like that.
I don't like those things.
Yeah, I don't like them either.
I was like, that was really interesting. I thought you guys were like dancing or something.
Okay, so like mine's kind of similar to them. Like at first, I could definitely hear the difference, like that. Somebody like turned off the music. Then after a while, like we focused more on like us talking to each other, and then once the music was off, then I could also realize, the music's
Like,
off.
why is it off?
Yeah, why is it?
Why is that? What was your reaction to the music?
Pretty much the same. We noticed it at first, and we thought you guys would be dancing or something.
Yeah.
Then we just like focused on talking, and then the music stopped.
Yeah.
So we noticed that.
Can I ask you, and this might seem like a dumb question, but why did you assume like that there was going to be dancing when you heard music?
I think just seeing like YouTube videos and stuff of people
YouTube
just like flash dancing.
Yeah.
I just figured the same thing would happen.
We got some music going on right here. I don't know what's going on, what that is, but no, that makes sense. Kind of music in a public space, you kind of assume someone's gonna do something with it.
Like, I didn't mind the music. I really liked it. So like, I was hoping to hear more of it.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah. guys got to hear our epic piece of music while you were here at the park. And I wanted to know, first I'll ask you, what was your reaction?
I found it was very peaceful. I thought it was very relaxing. It wasn't too loud or anything. It was kind of just background music. It was very nice.
Very nice. So you enjoyed it, and it didn't distract you from your experience of the park.
No, not at all.
What about you?
I found it, I didn't really notice too much of it, other than that it was some music that's uplifting. And we just sat there and like kind of just heard the background. Didn't really bother us too much. It was good.
Yeah. Cool. That's good. That's good. And what about you?
I definitely noticed it like right away, but it wasn't like in a bad way. It was just kind of like me acknowledging it. But I mean, it gives me just like the idea. It's like very uplifting that I'm like, I don't know, like running up a mountain or something. You know, just like at the top, you're just so like thrilled.
Yeah.
So it gave me like that kind of vibe.
That's good. And you?
I just thought it was like a nice, epic little soundtrack. I honestly didn't notice it right at first, and then I think it got a little bit louder, and I had to like peek back. But I loved it. It sounded like a soundtrack to a movie, and yeah, it was a good fit.
I probably listen to like 5 hours of music.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Wow. Like in headphones?
like, because I go to the gym a lot, and then I
Okay.
listen there, and then at work I'm listening like all day. So. Yeah, I use music as like a mood stimulant, you know what I mean? Just to kind of keep me in the right mindset like at all times, because I understand like the effects of that. So like in the gym, if I'm trying to get exhilarated, I'll listen to like really intense electronic music. And like at work, to keep like consistent vibes, I'll have like something like steady going, you know? So it just like helps me keep myself at a certain pace, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about for you guys? Like, does music make you want to move, or is it like a certain type of music? He says, "Oh yeah."
Definitely depends on what type of music.
Depends
I
on
guess
the
like
type.
certain songs, it's definitely like okay, I can get up and dance right now. But like other music, it kind of just is more relaxing. It's kind of just in the background, like it just kind of keeps you calm and just like helps you relax a little bit. Yeah,
So that would be like the opposite. You'd be like, I just want to relax. I don't want to move necessarily. Certain types of music.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I would say like I would say 90% of the time I listen to music to like relax me and just like get me to a better mood. And then I think the 10% is when you go to the gym or you need some like uplifting music to really get you in the mood for it. But
Yeah.
I would say for the most part, very soothing,
Okay.
calm music if I can.
Interesting. Is that? What about for you?
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, like going to the gym, I do train people, and I do play music in the background, and it does vary for the energy that they have during the class. To see the mood of the music just really goes, and if it's really an uplifting one, they'll try 100% for that time period. If it's really mellow, that's when they want to slow down or anything like that too. So it does work a long way to what type of music you pick.
Good. So in general, it was a good experience of sound.
100%.
Most parks should have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
found your performance is really natural, you know, from heart, really like spontaneous, really like blended in the nature very well. Especially the moment, what's her name? Vinny catch the bird.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're gonna.
Why did you walk over at first?
So initially I walked over because my fiance here, she was really tired and we wanted to see. And we were going to sit down a bit further away, but then I heard the music and it was really relaxing, so I wanted to sit down. And as I approached, I noticed this fine young man here dancing, and at first I thought he was trying to seek attention. So I kind of checked it out, wanted to see what he was, I guess, what he was about. And I noticed that you were filming, and then I became more interested. And as we sat down, we watched towards the end of his performance, and he began, and it was pretty nice. I think I became even more like, I guess, drawn at the end when you mentioned he was your husband. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.